Fuck you, Julio. I see your comments. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the World of Football podcast. It's just me and Nathan because, again, Julio is a wimp. He chose holiday over the podcast. He will be fined wherever he is. I'll fine him 5,000 as an ongoing fee. And we've got a little bit of Cardiff Leicester to talk about. I've got the Premier League to kill. I've got Celtic to bury, which is beautiful. And then I need to have a quick word with Elon Musk. But other than that...
You know what? Let's get the big elephant in the room. Tell him what Elon Musk has done to you, sir.
I've done nothing wrong, okay? I do not know how I've managed this, right? I've done nothing wrong. Yeah, apparently I've reached the limit when I'm in a wrestling group chat and a group chat with this lot. That's all I've been doing today with Twitter, like when I've been on it, is winding up my pals in my group chats, and then I'm on a DM limit. So I fucking hate Twitter, and I fucking hate Elon Musk, and I'm not getting Twitter X, or whatever it's called now. I'm not doing it. So stick that up your arse. But in the meantime, I've got Milan Bologna in the background, but we've got a good show. We've got a good show. But before we get to the festivities, hello everybody in the live chat, of course. Present your arms, give it a thumbs up if you're with us for the whole of the show. Thumbs up, any emoji except the ass emoji. That's Julio. But in the meantime, let's get cracking. And how are we, Nathan?
I am very well, thank you very much. Had an absolute stinky yesterday, let's just say. Apart from that, with some good Premier League action, we must say. But what an away day it was on Saturday. Met Ant, met Neil, also met Jack from the final whistle as well. Absolutely spectacular away day as away day standard goes. Probably one of the most hilarious, funniest, and stuff, loads of stuff that I couldn't even include on the video. That's how that away day went. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out in the description below. It was mental. Thanks for having me on, by the way. And yeah, happy days. Let's get this ball rolling.
As always, I think we have to really be diplomatic and decide where do we begin. And I think we're going to go a little bit different, something that the World of Football podcast has never done. So I'm just going to say this is not tribal. This is not bias or anything aside, but there was a particular tournament final at the weekend. It was actually very entertaining to watch. Of course, one team won in particular. And again, I am not pure and biased here. I'm not going to do anything. I had the opposite. I actually thought the opposite team would win. I was saying that for quite some time. So I just want to say congratulations, Spain. Congratulations, Spain, for winning.
It's coming, oh, it's coming. Football's coming, oh. Ah! Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. We were singing all day Saturday. There you go. You can have it.
See, Nathan's going to be the one to worry about. I'm just saying congratulations to Spain because a lot of England fans, right? I just want to say this, right? Because obviously I did see it on social media. A lot of England fans claim they were robbed. They weren't, to be fair. But if there was one situation where it should, to be fair, I would never thought I would see the Spanish perform the dark arts when it comes to drawing fouls and getting booked for it when it wasn't even a foul. But when you look at it, before the Spanish goal, that was actually beautifully taken as well. Beautiful pass by Redondo, of course. Then it went up to the captain, who just want to give my thoughts and prayers, of course, to Olga Carmona, the Spain captain. Her dad actually passed away during the match. So the fact that she still went on and won it as Spain captain, you know what? Massive respect to you. But thing is, right, England had umpteen amount of chances before Spain even scored. They hit the crossbar, they hit the post, they went wide a few times. The goalkeeper's very inexperienced as well as a good goalkeeper. I think if she comes up later in the live chat, Maisie will agree with that one because she watches Barcelona women's team. England had umpteen amount of chances, they didn't take them. The Spanish had one, bang, goal. And Spain just couldn't do it. Spain couldn't do any worse than that. Like, they had an opportunity, they took it. England didn't. And the whole way through, England had umpteen amount of chances. They had 13 minutes from minute 90. They had 13 added on minutes, and they still couldn't get a goal. So the fact that they claimed they were robbed is bollocks. Spain got a penalty that's questionable, but they saved it. Like, it was saved by Mary Earps, Man United #1 goalkeeper. Obviously, the England goalkeeper. She saved it. But England fans are trying to tell me they were robbed. I'm sorry, but your goalkeeper stopped it from being 2-0. You just couldn't finish for a barn door. You weren't robbed. You got beat on the day by the better team. So the fact that England at least made the final, fair play to you, by the way. Fair play. But the better team won. And that's the end of it. That's the end of it. I'm just going to correct. I hate the English government. I hate the government because it's in the English media. The rest of them, I don't care. I don't care about the rest. If England win the World Cup without smuggy media, I've actually got no issue. But it's their media. I fucking hate their media.
I mean, that's the reason why a Scotsman, your Welshman, your Irishman, that's why there's such an agenda there.
I want to avoid it as much as possible. I don't even want to care. I just want them to say, you know, if you go and win it, you go and win it.
Precisely.
That's normal. That's my point of view.
This is the problem we'd have. We'd be a lot more understanding of it. And in addition to that, like, they'd be just more like, yeah, whatever, you guys have won, like, fair play. But just because of the way that the English media just portrays it, like, you see it's coming home here, oh, England flag here. They put it on national TV and plaster all England flags everywhere. ITV is the worst for it by an absolute mile.
STV's up there as well for Pomona as well, which is bizarre.
Which makes it even worse because that is entirely based in Scotland. Like we can't even access, even in Wales, we can't even access STV down here, which is just mad. But it's the fact that I know it's like the thing that annoyed me, right? Was my Skybox yesterday plastered all England stuff all over the whole screen. I don't want to see that nonsense. And there we go. They just scored.
Olivier Giroud.
There we go. Go on, describe the goal, Reece.
Oh, beautiful pass across the face of the goal. Giroud, right-footed finish, into the net, done. And it's only 12 minutes in.
Fantastic stuff. 1-0 up AC Milan. Go. Fantastic. Yeah, but yeah, go back to what you're saying, Reece. Like, admittedly, I will admit this now. I did not watch the game. I was still in bed when the game was got on, so I can't exactly make a comment on it. I don't want to make a comment on something I completely didn't see or I haven't watched the highlights for. But that basically goes to show, like, I know it's England, but not. I watched it
because I haven't been able to watch any of the other games because the timings have always been so late at night. I just can't. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch the final no matter who's in it. And honestly, I thought, like, end to end, it was actually a very competitive game of football. But I think it says all as well, but the difference as well is they put up like the time average for how long it takes a team to recover the ball.
Yeah.
It takes Spain 10 seconds. It took England 16 seconds. I'm like, that's the difference as well. That's the levels to both sides as well. Like, it says a lot about how much difference aside. Like, a year ago as well, a couple of years ago, the Euros, fucking England beat Spain en route to winning the Euros.
It is.
At this point, Spain had never won a European knockout tournament match. And then they win their first trophy in the same tournament that they do. I'm like, that just shows they're there. Obviously, it's a little bit hypocritical with the Spanish FA with how they treat their women, but still, like, fair play to them for making it. The World Cup final was bittersweet. I was happy to see Ona Baggio, former Man United player, Bon Mati and Mateus win together for Spain, but England losing upset me a little. Didn't upset me. I thought they played well. Better final than the men's World Cup final. Which one? Because I thought the World Cup final for the men was actually quite exciting. France versus Argentina was wild. Especially because of the fact they went to 3-3, which nobody expected. Nobody saw that coming.
And the fact it all the way went to penalties as well with, and finally Leo Messi, who, for me, is better than Ronaldo and has had a better career. I know you're going to make the assumptions on that, Reece, obviously, but especially considering...
No, I'm not.
Fair play in my eyes, especially considering now he's won the World Cup, but I thought it was utterly spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
And I also thought that, in particular, France-Croatia was also a fairly decent game as well. In my eyes, the last few World Cup finals have been completely world-class.
Yeah. Some of them could be a lot better than others, but I mean, that's just the nature of it.
That's football.
Exactly, but I thought both games were exciting in their own right. I think this Women's World Cup final was slightly better than the last one Like the last Women's Cup final was fairly easy. Bologna just had a chance and hit it wide. Well, I mean, to be fair, when you're a club that has fucking Arnautovic to its name, you really do deserve a load of shit.
Here he is. Welcome in, Ant.
Just
Knew
gonna
that
let
was coming.
Yep, and I'm gonna let them go for you, mate, because I've got nothing to do with this.
I knew they were coming along. To be fair, you guys, well, it was fair for us to both have a point at the end of the day, wasn't it? But yeah, either way, quality away day. Great to meet you guys, and yeah, well, you guys are winning the league.
Yeah, Southampton won't. Oh yeah, oh they've really shot me like. But then again, though, I mean, I'm surprised.
At the end of the day, though, it's their own fault for employing Russell Martin.
Trey's a wanker.
Exactly.
What's this? There's a little bit of breaking news for everybody. Everybody's going to like this or react to this in a different way. So tell me what your thoughts are on this, everybody. This before we. Well, what? Oh, is he? Arnautovic is going into Milan. See, I knew they were a dusted football club. That's what happens when you sign Romelu Lukaku for 100 million and sell him for 100 million as well. You think you're that good, right? Anyway, that's breaking news. Let me know what everyone thinks about this, and then we'll get into. We'll start with the. We're gonna start with the championship, or just start with Celtic slander. I'll figure it out as we go. Anyway, breaking news: the president of Al Ittihad, Anmar Al Haili. Fuck me, that's a name I will never say again. Met today in London with Gabriel as negotiations between the clubs and player are proceeding positively to sign the player. That's Gabriel Magalhaes, the Arsenal centre back. Interesting. On the same day they're trying to sign Raphael Varane. Make your mind up.
To be fair, you got a point. We were atrocious in the first half, like you just walked all over us, but how you turned it in the second, like we could have been exactly the same. We just did not take our chances. Like how on earth Yaku Mete missed that open chance in the middle of the box, pushing it past the post, completely dreadful. Could not hit a barn door in that second half.
Are you on drugs? Dude. You've got a lot to learn. If you genuinely think I like Lukaku, then wow. I hate Lukaku, man. I hate Lukaku. Doesn't matter if he's playing for Chelsea, Belgium, Everton. Fuck, if he rolled up at Leicester for like £5 a week, I still hate him. Like, I cannot stand the man. He's a
£5 a week.
That's pretty much what he's worth.
It's generous.
£5 a week. Yeah, that's a good wage. I'd say £5 an hour, but then they would be bankrupt. Anyway, so wait, since it's already in the live chat, we may as well dive into it. So Cardiff versus Leicester. Nathan was a bit positive before we went live, so I'm going to give this one to Nathan. On you go, mate.
I was. I mean, to be fair, everyone will vouch for this, but I had no confidence going into this game at all, especially off the way in the manner that we lost against QPR. However, I was impressed with this performance. Bullet I thought set up the team really well. Yes, in the first half we got completely overrun, but at the end of the day, he's absolutely going for it. At the end of the day, Leicester completely overrun us in the first half. And there's no denying that, but they couldn't really hit a barn door. We held up well. And then obviously you guys broke away with that first goal. First of all, obviously a defensive error, which we're just played with at the moment. And then what can I say? Aaron Ramsey scoring that absolute screamer from 30 yards out. If anyone goes on to Ant's channel and watches his matchday vlog, where obviously yours truly was in it, you will see there is an absolutely spectacular prediction in there. And make sure you go watch that, because that is the epitome of fantastic predictions. And then moving on to the second half, really good and really prolific, especially getting it forwards, building up play. getting the chances, which we in the first half we did.
That's an accurate way to describe. That's an accurate way to describe it.
We absolutely were in the first half. The second half, yeah. Romeo getting sent off, I think, was just a bit of red mist because he got the initial yellow card, and I can't remember who it was who got the foul, but I do think Dewsbury Hall didn't. I think it was Dewsbury Hall. I don't think he helped matters with it. So obviously he did go off with a second yellow because Romeo felt like he had to retaliate, but I just think he completely lost his head there, which is just typical Cardiff City. And then, to be honest, as all optimistic Cardiff fans do, I thought, okay, we're going to actually get a draw out of a world-class team here. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But in typical Romeo fashion, completely retaliates and gets sent off, which, well, that's going to be a massive loss for us. But yeah, that also you should have seen some of the. He did indeed, BBL.
Nature of the game, you know.
It is, it absolutely is. But yeah, I thought it was great from.
What a line by Paul.
I know.
Oh, Pulisic.
Go on.
Holy shit. Okay, why am I celebrating a Pulisic goal? There's something wrong.
2-0 already?
Yep, 2-0.
Well, that was quick. But yeah, and then...
I'm scared. It only took them 10 minutes to score fucking 2 goals.
It's got to be a record. But yeah,
yeah. Anyway, carry on with this.
But yeah, moving on then. I thought it was going to be plain sailing, where we're actually going to get a point against Leicester. And then we decide to bring on Jack Simpson.
Get down. Get... You motherfucker. Ella, I really need to be careful because I don't want to hurt her, but she's on this model that I won from the States. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this one to you, Reece. Can we just discuss how terrible Jack Simpson is as a footballer?
Oh, where do I begin with Jack Simpson? Honestly, Jack Simpson really couldn't cook it up here. He was really poor. And it's even worse as well. He's had the Premier League as well. Like, he's generally awful. And the variety of position he plays, but the fact that people persist on him being a centre-back is absolutely fucking hilarious. He can't defend for shit. Like, he genuinely can't defend. And it doesn't help as well. He doesn't progress the ball well. He doesn't hold the ball. He can't win an aerial duel. He's just an English Wout Weghorst. That's all he is.
I mean, like, at the end of the day, how many mistakes has he cost us games? Like, every single...
She wins every time.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a Julio thing, let alone a Simpson thing.
Ooh.
Oh, it depends on the person. See, I love it when I smile, which is very rare. I'm not looking. Carry on.
But yeah, ultimately, if I see him in a Cardiff shirt again, I think I will go absolutely ballistic. I mean, I have a feeling he is going to play in that Birmingham match, but Errol Bullet, man, I'm sure you have seen enough at this point. Like, he's just atrocious. We should have had those first few points, but I just want to see a win, man. We will get to that later on. Because I have strong opinions.
Yeah, Nathan wants to do a tier list on anthems.
Mainly because I saw an absolutely atrocious tweet earlier today. And I've got a lot of things to... Yeah, there you go. Here you go, the Leicester fans. It's an alright anthem.
The good thing is, though, is I've got nothing to do with this, so I'm out of it.
Absolutely.
Just give me the Serie A anthem, and just give me the Serie A anthem every day, and I'm okay.
This man is the most easily pleased ever. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we should have at least got a point. We didn't. Yeah. We did it in the most Cardiff City way possible. Bon appetit. I just want to even know when we're winning. Just give us a win. That's all we need. I haven't seen us win since the start of March. And no, I don't count Colchester or any of those semi-professional Welsh teams.
That's a question for you. That's a question from Yeti Boy. Does Daley Campbell still play for Cardiff?
I believe he does, but I haven't even seen him. Where is the man? Is he out on loan? Is he on the moon? He's just completely vanished off the face of Earth.
Well, it works for you. It works for you. If you are watching, of course, please do like, share, and subscribe. Obviously, this is for Josh's channel, so let's get the numbers up for Josh's channel because he's not here tonight, unfortunately. But let's get up for him. He's sadly not well. Sadly not well. It must have been the fault of Chelsea having 75% possession and couldn't beat West Ham. Yeah, I don't know. But
we'll get to that shortly, but I mean, Makayo Mudryk, how is that? Like, I'm sorry, but how much did they spend on him?
I actually can't remember.
Exactly, because he's been that memorable. Let's have a look.
It was well into the 70s. It was up there anyway. It was a lot. It was like
88.5 million.
Yeah, 100 million euros. Aye. And, well, you could have spent that somewhere else. Genuinely awful. They've already disappointed me already. I mean, obviously I can't say much about my own club. I mean, that's fucking embarrassing. But, like, Chelsea in general, really poor. Really poor. All that possession, which you wouldn't expect under a Pochettino team, and be wasteful with it. I mean, that was appalling. That's back-to-back games where they have generally been poor or lucky. Nah, I honestly don't know what more to say about Chelsea except they are in a really tight situation. What about you? What did you think about the game against West Ham?
I thought they were absolutely diabolical. For me, West Ham set up to be all of their issues. I mean, couldn't hit a barn door. Players just wasting chances after chance after chance. So incredibly wasteful in the middle of the park as well. And I gotta be honest, they're in for a tough ride. Like at the end of the day, if you see, let me just run through their next couple of fixtures because it is looking absolutely grim for them. And in fact, I can see them getting 0 points with the way they're playing at the moment. So, minus Luton, who they're playing on Friday, they could even give them a game.
I think if that would be a very bit. Was this on last week's show? Was this mentioned? I can't remember. I apologize. So I've had a very long day, so I apologize about this. Andrew's comments. Reece, did you like our plan of taking a box of beers to the pub instead of buying from the pub? Depends on the pub. I mean, that's what I've always went with. Depends on the pub. Because if it's a shit pub, then yeah, definitely take beers just to cause a riot.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, any place that has Carlin and Foster's and that's it on tap, 100% acceptable. In fact, you just go in, nope, leave.
Yeah.
And trust me, there's way too many of those are bad at the moment.
Very true. Right. That's my fault. See, my head is all in a phase, so I apologize.
Yeah, to be fair, though, man, everyone did that at the weekend. Like, if you went into the counting house, you should have seen the size of the queues in there. Like, literally across the road from a Morrison's, like, half of our fans were just literally getting cans out of there and just dishing them out and selling them. Like, I know you guys are doing it in the other pub as well. Like,
and I 100% agree with that. That was awful. And as soon as they came on, they scored. Fucking West Ham scored, which says a lot.
I even think Chelsea would have done better if they had 10 men on the pitch, considering how bad Caicedo was.
Yeah. I'm just lucky up here.
Because the away fans are more superior, Andrew. Come on, man.
Oh, Nathan, there's war between you guys, so I'll just let it go.
I mean, just go onto my vlog and just see how spectacular our fans were at the weekend.
You smug bastard. You absolute smug bastard. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
I mean, to be fair, though, out of both of the pubs, Your one sounded more lively. Like you had all the live music going on. I got well. I mean, outside of the pub was nicer, but if you wanted to get a drink in there, like you didn't have a chance. But I don't know. Let's do it. Explain how you think it's nicer, anyway. But yeah, apart from that, I want to put one big thing to the side and just say how class of an away day Leicester is. Like pubs, like a stone's throw from the ground, one home, one away. Great atmosphere, very good away end, and yeah, for me, if I out of all the away days, it goes in the elite tier.
Aye. I think that's a positive though as well. Some of these games though, I'll admit I was shocked by, but I think we can all like. Obviously, I'm going to come to the one game that really pissed me off, but there was 2 games at the weekend that shocked me, bar the West Ham game, and that was Villa versus Everton and Fulham versus Brentford. Because one, Everton last week actually had a fantastic game. Yes, they lost, so calling it fantastic is a bit of a stretch, but they were the better team. They didn't deserve to lose their opening game against Fulham. But whereas Aston Villa, they weren't bad against Newcastle, but as I said during that game, it was just quality that just took over and they just couldn't keep up. This game, though, completely different. Everton got absolutely murdered by Aston Villa. And I have Aston Villa to do well in Europe. I've got Everton to get relegated. Honest to God, the way things are going right now, I'm not surprised because that's 5 goals conceded in 2 games, and that's never happened. That's not happened in. I think there was a stat about it. I think it's 80 something years. I think it's a long record for Everton, but generally, like, what was your thoughts on that performance as well? And everyone else, what did you think about that? Like Everton going down. There's the question.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we both pretty much had the same prediction for both teams, but I will draw it to the fact that, well, this was one that I did watch over the yesterday, and I just thought it wasn't the amount that they conceded. In fact, I thought in the second half they were just getting worse and worse and worse, where they completely lost the quality. I mean, that penalty decision, which led to the Douglas Luiz goal, I thought it was very questionable. I did think Jordan Pickford was rather reckless, but at the end of the day, each of those goals could have been prevented. Their backline was absolutely atrocious, like it has been since the dawn of time. And I even said that I thought it was going to improve. Boy, was I wrong. Like, if they keep playing like they did, and Villa absolutely walked all over him in the second half. There's no doubting about it. Scored some cracking goals. Just Sean Dyche playing too much of a high line. They were overlapping, and they took their chances. Everton toothless in front of goal. Yet again, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, what does he offer? I mean, with the way he's going, he's going. Yeah, exactly. With the way he's going, he's going to get 0 goals this season. Like, he offered nothing in that game. Danjuma did what he could, did nothing.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, Sean Dyche has got a proper job on his hands. Hasn't really had the budget to bring in his players. I mean, Danjuma was a good signing, but is he a Sean Dyche signing? No. Squad's full of deadwood, and they're going to have some real issues. But like I've said, like we've both said with Villa, you cannot take it from that Newcastle game because Newcastle were just on a different planet. And we could see that with the way that they were performing. And it was just the individual mistakes that have cost them. And as Unai Emery said in his press conferences, if they iron them out, which is one thing you've got to do in the Premier League, then they'll be fighting there this season. I think they're going to, especially a lot of the top 10 sides, they're going to cause a massive upset for me.
Oh, I certainly agree. And I think the way they played as well, like the fact that it's 2 games in and Diaby's already cooking for them says a lot.
He was brilliant.
Like, yeah, that's another good game for him. John McGinn fought good performance in the central of the park. Good side. Watkins, decent again. And their defence was rock solid. Narrow as hell. Like, that was Unai Emery, classic defending, but it was depressing. It was relentless. Everton could not cope. And fair play Villa for exploiting every situation they could get. They just played it right through them. And when the opportunity to go direct and score, they done it. And it was easy. It was so easy. Helen was saying the most entertaining match she watched. I didn't watch it, but she says it was Forest versus Sheffield. Very interesting. I didn't watch, so I can't really comment on that. But I did hear about obviously you mentioned about the bookends. I heard about that specifically because that was a very common thing on social media. Is they are being so heavy on anybody who tries to bitch it, but there's other players that are being perceived as bitching because of reputation, and they're not able to speak. I think that's a major problem.
I mean, it's just essentially like Sky managers, us, YouTube, and unless he's having a rant about Wesley Fofana, but we'll leave that for another day. Like,
you know what I meant?
Who is
lol.
Sheffield?
They're the only one in the Premier League, lol. Everyone knows who I'm talking about. The worst one.
Are they the bigger club, though?
No, it's Sheffield Wednesday.
There you go. Happy days. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
When you go.
Trying to think where I was. Yes. Us, for example, everyone, we've all scrutinised the referees to hell. Just because of how they, A, refuse to be accountable, and B, they're just absolutely atrocious and getting worse. We've already seen that at the start of the season. VAR hasn't helped. But the fact, and certain things, I know that it's good that they stamped out tragedy chanting, some abuse of referees and stuff like that. However, why is it that for the most part of history that they need the most scrutiny and they should change the rules on the referees? Why have they decided to wrap them up in cotton wool and say, if he has a little moan at you, you can book him. You can send him off after a second one. Like, it's just getting a joke. Like, Gary O'Neill, I think, was the nail in the coffin for it. Like, he actually scrutinises a proper mistake, gets booked. Didn't even rescind his yellow cards. That's an absolute disgrace, that is. We've seen it constantly this weekend. And even if you say something to the ref that you don't agree with, yellow cards.
I think they're so scared of more managers acting like Jose Mourinho. They're that scared. I hope they all just come taped up and just record them all.
I completely agree.
Because the English referees, I've been saying it for so long, they absolutely suck. Like, they suck.
I mean, that was one thing I was actually thinking for tonight, was us actually doing a tier list on the referees.
They're all in shit.
Exactly. That's why it wouldn't work.
Exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, they are that bad that if it was my choice, I would literally stick them in a Hell in a Cell match with the Wyatt family. And then see how that goes. Maybe then they'd actually perform the way they should be.
Oh, Jesus. I need a moment.
Go for it. That as long as you need.
Oh, that's actually produced tears of laughter out of me. Jesus.
That's when you know you've achieved at life, baby.
Julio, if you're about to defend the referees, your fine is about to be doubled.
Right. Listen, Julio, I am all words.
If you are about to defend
not all words,
the referees,
I am all ears. There's only two things that I'll be all ears about. Idiots who think Swansea are a bigger club and people who defend referees.
I knew that was
I will happily sit here and I will happily listen to this.
And
because I know there's not a case for it.
And the end of Celtic's treble hopes.
Go on, Reece, take that away because I just
I for one was very shocked by that one. I went the whole day. I literally put in our group chat. I went the whole day without knowing that Celtic played and lost to Kilmarnock. And I was like, Jesus, like you would expect the Celtics to get past the second round of the Viaplay Cup, you know, but they couldn't do that properly. But I looked at it as well, the genuine amount of stats as well. They absolutely battered Kilmarnock and they couldn't score. And it's quite funny how I mentioned his name on last week's podcast. It's funny how it's a certain former Aberdeen manager that's the Kilmarnock manager that gets the result in the end. See that it all comes back. It all comes back on this podcast.
I mean, you do have a point, and there's one thing about Celtic I won't defend, and that is that right there.
Brendan Rodgers.
Exactly. I mean, if his second start spell is going to be that much of a disaster, don't do what Leicester did. Just get rid of him. Like, he's already done the treble. Like, he's had his mark in history. He obviously tainted it when he went to Leicester, but I mean, come on.
I know.
He surely cannot ruin it anymore.
I just want him to get eliminated from the Scottish Cup, and then that'll be
hilarious.
I still think, by the way, the Viaplay Cup, I still think Hearts are going to win it. Rangers are still in it, but I do think that, like, obviously I want Rangers to win every available trophy, but the way the Rangers played against Morton, especially because it's Morton, I was not too keen about. Oh, great, this sucker's actually here.
Yes.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can
away and eat trout, you fish-loving bastard.
How are we? Are we good?
Very well.
Yes,
How is
all
it?
good. If you're here to defend referees, I swear to God.
When I say hear me out, it's a very balanced point of view because I speak from experience. Because
oh God, he said balanced.
Oh no.
No.
It's already over.
If you want to be like that, that's fine. But listen,
I hate all incompetent referees. So over to you.
Yeah. No, so my point of view regarding referees, basically, on the one hand, referees do need an element of protection because, listen, I've been a referee before, and I've been in the situation where people don't like what you've done and they'll hurl abuse at you and whatever. Now, granted, the mums and dads and coaches of under 13s is a little different to Premier League level. However, the problem is the problem we've got here is that this is the biggest problem of this is here in England. Unless obviously you think in other countries when there's no rules or anything whatsoever. These referees that we've got here, they're soft, spineless, they're bottle jobs. Can you name me one English or British referee who you can sit there and go, he's a top referee? The top officials seem to be coming from elsewhere. We see them on the international stage, but that's just one. Charlie Austin said it well a few years back. The Premier League, the best league in the world, and we don't even have the best refs. And I think the problem is they're too scared to make the wrong decision, so they leave all the power to VAR when the power is supposed to be with the referee on the pitch. And then, sorry, can you still hear me? Because there's actually a train going
loud and clear.
Yeah, can hear you loud and clear.
Jesus, that is a long train.
That's the train. That is the train of Celtic's treble hopes fading away.
No, because given that it's this early in the season, that would be a short one.
No, their treble hopes are gone. They died at the weekend.
Yeah, I know. But we're only in, what is it, August? So it's happened pretty quickly.
I know, it's beautiful.
No, it's not.
It is.
But the fact of the matter is, Reece, you've named one referee. The only good referees we're seeing are on the international stage. The only good use of VAR we're seeing is when we're seeing international tournaments. Why is it we're seeing good refereeing and good use of VAR? World Cups, Euros, Champions League might be pushing it a little. The problem is we don't know the rules anymore. The refs here are terrible and spineless. They need wrapping up essentially because they're shit. I'm all for regulations to help protect referees. I don't condone what was happening to Anthony Taylor at the airport when the fans were going after him. That for me is where you cross the line. If you had good referees here, there might be a different story.
And that's fine. That's fine. That's
fair enough.
The past couple of years, I've been so brutal with referees the past couple of years. Not about the fact that Anthony Taylor couldn't win a marathon. Nothing like that. It's generally they are so shit at their job when the best referees are in Germany or Holland or Portugal, despite the odd situation, the Italian referees are so much better. I say that chest out because obviously I'm going to get response saying, "Oh, corruption," but it's not always that.
And not only that, with like the match fixing stuff, ever since the Juventus scandal was called out, that has massively dropped like a stone ever since it's been caught.
Yeah, and it says a lot. But I'm like, there's so much more to it.
Listen,
Oh,
gents.
hang on. Hang on. Is that a penalty?
If I may cut in with something quickly.
Go for it.
No, it's not. Thank fuck, it's not.
This is a little bit short-lived, this appearance, because I've been traveling all day and I'm about to head home. If you're doing the tier list post Q2 around 9 o'clock, I might be able to jump on for it.
We'll still be going.
We'll ride
still
it
be
out.
going.
We'll ride out for you, man.
So I might be able to jump on for that.
We've got United to slaughter as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll be listening the whole way. I just can't be on here. So
I'll be slaughtering. Don't worry.
No worries. Well, I'll catch you guys in a bit. Yeah.
Catch you soon.
Yep. No worries. And the referee defender has been ejected. Just kidding. He's not.
That lasted long.
Yeah. We'll see him soon. Anyway, right. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to it.
Mr. Russell, you have the floor.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, because I'm actually gonna bring facts and statistics to this one. Let me just get this up, because I this part here is actually the worst part. It's not the scoreline. It's what happened after the game that pissed me off. So I'm going to see if I can find it, all right? So just in the meantime, let me just say that performance really was completely unacceptable. The players, again, couldn't be bothered. They did not show any interest in the game itself. They couldn't be bothered to actually do the bare minimum, which says a lot. But then the worst thing as well is when they're getting outworked. And this is what I'm about to show everybody. And this is not a joke. This is legit. This is legitimate. So I'm about to share my screen. And I've been saying this for quite some time. On the top, so this is the physical stats from the match, okay?
Mm-hmm.
On the top is Tottenham, as Tottenham were the home side. Waste side, obviously, United on the bottom. I'm going to go through each one by one. Distance covered, Tottenham, 115 kilometres to Manchester United's 110. Sprints, Tottenham, 191. Manchester United, 127. Speed runs, Tottenham won that with 801 to Manchester United 666. Quite ironic for a club being called the Red Devils that we actually hit the Devils number. Low speed runs, Tottenham 2,176 to Manchester United's 1,966. Tottenham had 4,809 jogs compared to United's 4,770. And walking 3,561 to 3,475. There was a stat as well where in a single half, Tottenham actually had 40 full sprints more than us, and that was the second half. Now, that's a fair comment, but I'm also going to bring up another one. Ten Hag, again, is falling into three traps. He is falling into three traps. Bar these two, so there's five. So one, selections and positioning. So there's two. The same trap. Three, he is not holding players accountable. Four, the players again are not working. So they're not working for him. They've done the preseason, they've done that part. They're like, that's it, we're done. And five, stubbornness. They are coming back to haunt him. And I'm going to say this now. If Ten Hag does not sort this, if he does not drop, he's a great manager. This is the worst thing. He's a great manager. he should be able to see who is not pulling up trees in training. The players who are not actively putting in the sprints in training, the ones who aren't actually working more than 100%, should be noticed. If they are still being picked, he is going to get sacked by Christmas. And I'm saying that with confidence. I don't want him sacked, but it is the inevitable that he will get sacked because of them if he continues to persist. There is a level of professionalism from these players, but the manager has got to turn that. He has got, either he drops them or I don't know what he does, but there is a sentiment there among certain players, and it's disgusting. It pisses me off. And Erik ten Hag is Enzo from Wish. Erik ten Hag is a manager your manager wishes he was. You can have the championship. That's your level. When you come back up, then we'll talk. Actually, I can't wait for Leicester to come back up. I like Leicester, to be fair. They're okay. But as I alluded there about statistics, when you look at the two teams on paper, Man United versus Tottenham, who's got the better team on paper?
Obviously, Manchester United.
Look at the stats. Statistically, who had the better game?
Statistically, it was neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
However, possession-wise, well, even though it means, in my opinion, it means absolutely nothing. Tottenham did. However, expected goals was Man United.
I will give you that. That is very true. That is very true.
But the thing you got to look at, like, this is the way that I take it from my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Is what on earth is your setup? Like, why are you playing Mason Mount as a defensive mid in that system? If you don't play a 4-2-3-1, then you have to play either Casemiro and Christian Eriksen partnered together. You cannot play Mason Mount that far back on the pitch, because at the end of the day, like the way that Tottenham did, like the way that they played it with exactly the same system.
Yeah.
I mean, using both Sarr and Basuma really worked out for Ange Postecoglou in this one, pushing Maddison up, who, by the way, linked up so well with Kulusevski and also him and Son as well. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Postecoglou had it switched up to a T.
Maddison, all due respect to Leicester boys, like, this is not a dig at them or their club or anything, but Maddison looks so much better now after leaving. It's not that I don't think it's actually because it was bad at Leicester or anything like that. I just think it was like that stage where a player's been there too long, and you do need that new change. Otherwise, you're not going to do anything else. Since he's moved to Tottenham, he does look more refreshed. He does look like he's more involved in the number 10 role. And it's worked really well for Postecoglou, so I will give them that. Like, they played really well.
Another thing I'd just like to quickly mention as well is that, in particular with Maddison, I do think that Brendan Rodgers did hold him back a little bit. Like, for example, I thought he could have been a lot more creative in that Leicester side. And I just think that the way that...
Yeah, the numbers are good. That's my point. But then Yeti Boys literally just alluded to it. It's because he's trying. I remember the free kick that he scored.
Even with all the injuries that Leicester did have last season, I do kind of think that he didn't have it around him as well. Like, it just wasn't producing. I think, in particular, some of the defensive performances as well didn't help Leicester, and the fact that in the manner that they lost games, we all know how bad Wout Weghorst was. Vestergaard didn't exactly do well either. Soyuncu was just mad out.
Yeah,
with the way he went, and ultimately, it is a tricky one.
It is, but then again, that's where it comes down. Like, obviously, like I said, like, Maddison's a quality player wherever he's been.
Yeah,
like, generally, he's a quality player. He's now playing under probably the best coach he's ever going to have. Like, when you deep dive it, he's playing under the best coach he's ever going to have. Pains me to say that, considering who he used to manage, but still, football wise, tactically, his style of play, the lot, like, Madison will thrive under Postecoglou. Yeah, he got decent amount of stats last year. That's great. For any player, obviously, you want to end on a high. But this is the sort of manager that will enjoy working with him. But that's a fair point as well. Like he may not even get 25 goals and assists this year. But assist-wise, he'll be looking to get more if Tottenham can actually score goals, though. Like if Tottenham can score regularly on a consistent amount that he provides, they've got that. Because he actually had a decent first game as well against Brentford, where he should have had a hat-trick of assists as well, but they couldn't score for a barn door.
And I do think that Son and Kulusevski were also terrible in that one. And ultimately, as we see a lot with Maddison, playing in that number 10 role, he's absolutely phenomenal. However, if he doesn't, like he did at times with Leicester, if he doesn't have those players around him, like
he's humped.
He's not doing anything. We even saw the likes when he was at Norwich as well, winding back the clocks to like 2017 to 2018s. I mean, this was during the start of the Daniel Farke age. He had players around him at times who were decent Championship. However, I do think the deadwood that they had at the time, in further back in midfield and towards the defence, really did let them down. However, coming through there as a youngster, I do think if he would have had the score around him, they would have gone up by an absolute mile.
Yeah.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's really that's the way you got to look at it.
Yeah. When you look at the point you made about like our system and all that, is we've now changed to like a full-on flat 4-3-3 system instead of his traditional system, which I kind of thought he was going to do it in pre-season if there was more to the squad, but there isn't, and it's the midfield specifically. It's the midfield that's going to hold this team back. Not forget about. I know we didn't score against Tottenham, but it's the past two games. Like our performances have literally been crippled through the midfield. We need someone in there like an Amrabat, for example, somebody who can actually pass the ball, but is also going to keep working. Because again, this doesn't take away from Mount. I think Mount's a good player, but Mount's problem as well, though, is he can't defend for Toffee. He can't defend. Him and Fernandes were far too high. They left too much space. Casemiro, again, left on his own. And he was exploited that much that they were like, they just gave up. They just gave up. They were like, nah, what's the point? And I'm thinking, why would you, in this game, why would you not start? I don't like him, but I would have started McTominay in this game where there's even a little bit of fight. I don't like him, but I actually would have against a midfield that's actually going to try and run through you, which they did. Or even Eriksen as well, who can pass the ball, distribute it really well. Like, that's 2 games now where our midfield has been overrun. If we don't make a midfield signing, then I will categorically say that I have got so much fear going into matches. I have got fear. Because we didn't deserve to beat Wolves. We didn't deserve to beat Wolves. But we got exactly what we deserved against Tottenham. We got exactly what we deserved. All I say, though, is Onana, despite the 2 goals conceded, he actually had a good game. Obviously better without trying to kill someone this week. But his passing was fantastic. And it says a lot when your goalkeeper is the best passer in the field. Like, that's terrifying. And again, the front three needs to change. I don't know why Sancho was on the bench.
I thought that was completely ridiculous, to be honest. Like, I mean, I do rate Garnacho, but like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, shouldn't be. He doesn't need to start games.
Bring him on as an impact player. Anthony, I thought even then disappointing. At the end of the day, we've seen it so many times with Manchester United over in particular the last 5-6 years.
Yep.
Very, very talented players who just underperform, no matter which manager you chuck in front of them. I don't know whether it's a mentality issue at the club or if it's just someone, a particular individual who is bringing down the squad, or if it's, I don't know.
I
There's
honestly
just something
don't know
there that's
anymore.
bringing it down.
I honestly don't know anymore. I just generally find these players are all lazy bastards, and they will not put the bare minimum in. And I've said it before. They've done it. They've done it to Mourinho. They've done it to all them. Like, they would still do it to Jurgen Klopp. They would do it to Pep Guardiola. They would do it to Ancelotti. This lot would do it to Sir Alex Ferguson. Like, I don't even know who the culprits are. But when you look at on the field, you can tell who isn't. It's definitely not Onana, because he's just come in. It's not Varane. It's not Lisandro Martinez. I doubt that it's Wan-Bissaka. I just don't think he's that good. I think Rashford is a problem.
Yeah.
He scores goals, but when you put him through the middle, he looks completely out of it.
Especially when he's playing out of position.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that he sort of indirectly, as I could say, kicks up a strop by like, oh, this is not my position. Why am I here?
Yeah.
And I'm going to play completely terrible. It's almost like, I'm going to play completely terrible to prove to you that I cannot play out of position. Which also drags the team back. And ultimately, it means that, it's Marcus Rashford. He's got the talent. If I don't play him, then the United fan base is going to be on my back. I'm going to have to play him up front and into the team.
Yeah,
like that's the way I think it's going with him. I also don't think it's Casemiro.
Some of them aren't. Some of them are good. Some of them aren't. But when you look at it, I can't pinpoint who's actually the problem. I thought the problems were gone. But you're always going to have problems. I felt like the main issue of players who aren't going to work are gone. I generally don't know anymore. But that worries me even more. That you just can't tell. I don't think Anthony's a bad player. He's just so one-footed that it's holding him back. I think he has to change position. Put the right footers back on the right wing. Put the left footers on the left wing if that's going to help. But again, that takes out Rashford because Rashford can only play left wing. I think Ten Hag really needs to stop. He needs to stop with the favoritism and just get on with the team. Even bring Diallo or Palestra into game for a couple of games. Let them have a run out. What they're doing can't be worse.
Exactly. Another aspect I'd like to give is how a certain could be an option. Potentially.
Yeah. Go on.
The thing I want to mention is how are these certain individuals who have, in my opinion, underperformed over the years?
Mm-hmm.
How has Erik Ten Hag still persisted them? Why didn't he go for the complete and utter rebuild? But I think he would have been more moderately backed in the summer. Why hasn't he got rid of these aspects which you can consider deadwood? Why is Martial still there? We already know he's not good enough to be in a Man United shirt.
Agreed.
Why is Below there?
Fuck knows.
Why is Lindelof still there? Why is McTominay still there?
Well, Lindelof isn't too bad. He actually had a very good end to the season, to be fair. But I would say he's reliable. He's not great, but he's reliable.
He's sort of your squad player who comes off the bench and fills in when required. But some days he can be good. Some days you just I said, you just want to stick him in hell in a cell. But aside from that, at the end of the day,
he wouldn't be up. He wouldn't be my first names to go. He wouldn't be. There's definitely other names I would be like, you're fucked off first.
100%. And in fact, if I have to give you those 5 names now, there you go. Who are your 5 names to leave the club? If you could release 5 players right now and bring in exactly who you want, what are you doing?
Martial, Maguire, McTominay, Dallo. So it's pretty much that. And then who would my 5th one be? Oh, Van de Beek. Just because he's not going to get back into this team anyway, so what's the point in having him here?
Precisely. We could go for hours about why on earth Van de Beek was signed into your team. Genuine. Because he has not been used full stop.
Yeah.
and just with the amount of quality, like there's just no way he gets into that team. But yeah, what a shambles it is with you guys at the moment.
Oh, it is. It is, and it's not even more about like how do we fix it. It's who do you actually. I think it goes beyond transfers and all that stuff. Like we should be using the transfer window literally to make our squad better. When we use the transfer window, it's almost like we're making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the players are like either they're jealous with competition, or they think, oh, somebody's come in, I can slack off a little bit, and I'm like, you shouldn't be. If someone comes in, it's because they're coming in to either force you out or they're here to compete with you. You should want to try and raise your game more and actually get along with it. I don't see anyone doing that, and that worries me more than anything else. So I think another player as well who was really poor at the weekend, but he's been quite quiet for comments lately, is Luke Shaw. I thought Luke Shaw was absolutely appalling at the weekend.
He was. And for me, I do think, especially last season, I think he is starting to improve and really become a focal point.
Henderson and Bailly, yeah, they're two others. Yeah.
I rate Henderson as a keeper. I do think now he does need to go. Just because I think his time has come at Man United. He's got
Palace want him apparently
but
on loan. I think Palace want him on loan with an option to buy. Just sell him for fuck's sake.
I mean, how many loans can a player have before it just goes stale?
That is just the recurring thing for managers these days, dude, is they're trying to get like one fullback who can play inverted. Luke Shaw can't do it. I think the best case for him is to play, if you're not going to use him in that circumstance, I would put him as a centre-back. I would put Martinez into midfield. Martinez at defensive midfield actually gives Casemiro the chance to play a box-to-box role. Played really well in that role for Ajax, so I'd be okay with it.
Here's a good idea with it. What if Ten Hag maybe experiments with a three at the back and put in Luke Shaw as a left-sided centre-back?
I'm all right with that.
And then using wing-backs, players who can actually get it forwards. Because I think that will benefit you guys more. More defensively solid, and then really exploit it with the pace on the wing. And then maybe even play it as a false nine. Because at the end of the day, if you have two central attacking midfielders, using the wing backs to overlap, there you go.
Mm-hmm. It's a possibility. I just think the systems he's got, those are the systems he's persistent with, and that's what he wants. Luke Shaw is constantly labelled as one of the best left backs in football, but he does not deliver when he's asked to inverted roles. He can't do it, and his delivery as well was really bad.
Yeah,
it was really bad. To be fair, I know a few that don't like five at the back. I don't like five at the back when we play so defensive. Like there's a few games where we played five at the back, and we were genuinely really good. We played five at the back against Tottenham, and it was actually really good to watch. But then we played five at the back against Liverpool, and fuck me, we're awful. I'm like, it depends on the opposition, but I don't mind a 3-4-3 at United. Like if that's what we end up doing, I'm okay with that. We actually played, fun enough, when we beat Arsenal 3-1, we started the game as a back three. And Arsenal could go. And then obviously throughout the game we went back to the back four, and then we held down and got the win that we deserved. But I look at it and I'm like, it depends really on what we're gonna do. If we get it, I don't mind. I don't really mind. Shaw was excellent as a centre back. Molas isn't fit yet. True. Still got Alvaro Fernandez if we don't sell him, which really annoys me. Shaw trying to be inverted, but having Martinez step out would be better. Realistically. And yeah, that's true. Did do a back three against Arsenal in that game, and they couldn't score for the life of them. 31 shots or something. It was absolutely funny. 13 saves. I don't want to see rinse repeat when it comes to a manager getting sacked. But if the problems continue to persist with the performances, I feel like they'll still do it anyway because it's what they do. They blame the manager, they sack the manager, and then they just bring somebody in who isn't good enough as an interim. Then they bring in a full-time manager who just ends up with the same problems. They need to fully conduct a situation at the club where they actually see who's actually not doing enough in training. And if you're not doing enough every single day to warrant a start, you should be out in your arse. You should be. It feels like they just don't want to do it because it's either the money they're making from shirts, or like you said earlier on, it's about the fan base. Shouting online about, because Rashford doesn't play in this particular position, or he's got to start every single game. He doesn't have to start every single game. A player's position should only be guaranteed if they've turned up in training and they've actually performed in the previous game. If they perform 2 games in a row, keep them going. If they play 3 games in a row, they're really good.
Well, that's the exact problem where you went wrong with Ronaldo as well. Like, especially with what you could say, the Ronaldo fanboys in the fan base, like,
yeah,
they all thought he was bigger than the club, and that massively brought that down the dressing room.
Agreed.
At the end of the day, when he was removed, look at how things started to improve.
Yeah.
You just need to get the egos out of there. And ultimately, I do think, as you said, the fan base doesn't help either. And it's like that with everything as well.
No, I agree with you. I just don't know. Like, it's embarrassing. Just seeing there, Sheffield United are in talks over a deal for Facundo Palestra to join them on loan.
Mm-hmm.
I need a fucking moment.
Go for it.
Like, come on. Like, yeah, it helps. It helps Sheffield United. It gives them an extra attacker. But for goodness sake, can we not? We've just binned one player today. The right decision. I don't want to talk into that too much, but we binned one player today at last for the right decision. But we should be trying to get rid of more attackers. We should be trying to keep them. Unless you're generally not good enough. Palestri is a good player. Obviously, he's young. He's still got a lot to do and all that and develop, but I mean, it could be worse. He could end up like a Langer, so who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I actually don't know. I actually do not know.
I do think as well, saying that. And
honestly,
I think
mate, like I've tried to avoid.
Fan base hasn't helped either.
So
like,
yeah,
there's been, should he play? Should he not play? And I just think the way it has been dealt with is such a mess. And I thought that Man United's statement today was absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah.
Especially the way they portray the video, not the video, like the whole situation. And I think, especially in that statement as well, I do think there was a lot of contradictions from what they were saying and what they were trying to imply. Like, you could not tell the meaning from what the club was saying.
Yeah.
I mean, the positive to it is that he's gone.
Yeah, that
they said they're going to help him go. Like, for all we know, with the way they said it, he's still at the club training.
Trust me when I say this, dude. Go and look on the tweet from... Actually, I'll give you the exact tweet to look at, and you'll see a massive contradiction in our fan base. Big up to the women, by the way. The women's fan base were absolutely brilliant. See if I can find it. That's a lot of stupid tweets. Where is it? There's one tweet in particular, right, about Greenwood's statement. It's either Greenwood statement or the club statement, right? And it's the fan base are going, oh, but he's still a kid. Give him a second chance.
I'm sorry, but that's just absolutely
you deserve
rubbish.
Fuck all. You've just made my night, mate. Honest to God, they are still fucking moaning. Such a large portion, and you know what's even worse now? I for quite a while I've been avoiding this as much as I can, right? Mm-hmm. There was a lot of UK fans that were not getting involved, like on either side. Then eventually they're like, they just don't want him anywhere near the club, right? Now you've got UK men with women, their children and their wives as their profile pictures, saying he made a mistake, let him come back. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, it's just completely disgraceful at the end of the day. Like, I'm not going to get fully involved with it, but if they're saying that, and I'm not going to say my opinions because this is not the place to. Just look, do your research. You could clearly tell by what they're saying they haven't looked, they haven't seen what's been published.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my stance on it.
Yeah.
And I just want to go back to the thing. Well, sort of my opinion. Like they say, he's just a kid. No, he isn't.
He's in his 20s now. He's not a kid.
Exactly.
He stopped being a kid at 18 years old. Well, technically, UK law, he stopped being a kid at 16.
Completely correct.
Or is it 13? It's one of the laws where you're no longer treated as a kid. Well, technically, you're a teenager at 13. You're a young adult at 16. You're an adult at 18. There you go.
Correct. So, in my eyes, no, that's not true.
It's bollocks. Like some of the shit, like it's coming from our fan base. There's a lot of fans that obviously have done this in the right way. Statements, emails to the club saying this cannot happen, and I stand by all of them. But then it's fans that are like, give him a chance, and I'm like, if you want him to give him a chance, then just you fuck off with him.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, you make mistakes, but
thanks, man. I appreciate it. I knew it was one of the two. Yeah,
exactly.
I appreciate it.
I mean, at the end of the day, people make mistakes, but no, this is not a mistake. I'm sorry, but it's a joke.
Yeah. It's even worse as well as when there's people who say you have to be able to have these conversations, right? And I'm like, you don't have the right to tell anybody what they can and cannot talk about. I personally feel uncomfortable talking about this sort of situation, this sort of topic. I find it so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because you never know what someone's gone through. And when you talk on it, you can tell by the way someone sounds that they are trying to give an opinion, but if it's not as easy if you've never gone through it. And that's the worst thing, because people try to pressure people who've gone through it to talk about it and talk about their experiences just so they can get a grasp of it. And I'm like, I'm not. I don't understand this. I find it horrible that people will go to any sort of given excuse to try and defend this. And I'm like, and then you ask yourselves, what if this was your own family? And you're still saying give them a second chance. I'm sorry, but if that was anyone in my family, I wouldn't demand a second chance. I would be done with them. Like,
I mean, you've just hit it absolutely on the head there, Ant.
A mistake is I accidentally got drunk on Saturday. Don't remember recording a video of me singing to Nathan, not what Greenwood has done.
Mate, he was absolutely steaming.
I think if we showed this, we would get in trouble. So if you're on Nathan's Discord, I think you'll be able to put it on his Discord.
It's actually, I believe it was I can't remember. Well, even I can't remember as well. I think it was the one on the Final Whistles channel.
Well, there you go.
But it wasn't me who filmed it.
Naturally.
It is clean.
Quality.
It is.
Oh, it's clean. No, that's okay.
The one on the Final Whistle, and I can't even remember myself.
Either way, I can't show it anyway on someone else's channel because I will get Josh in trouble, and I am not doing that. But definitely take a look at it if you can. Look up if Anne can find the link to it. Drop the link in. That's cool. Like, but in terms of the whole situation. This is my last thing on it. And I'm never going to talk about him ever again because I refer to him as Voldemort. Bologna nearly got a goal back, but they've not had enough in this game. Anyway, the last thing I'm going to say in this one is goodbye, so long, fuck off.
Absolutely.
There we go. There we go. I'm done with it. I don't have to say any more on him. And he's gone. He's gone. And I'm glad. And his idiotic fan club can go with him. Because they don't help. Like they don't help. They just make it worse. Anyway, moving on. Juventus won a game at the weekend quite comfortably.
They did.
Shock horror. 3-0 Juventus.
I mean, they got benefit from the fact that they don't have European football this season.
I mean,
So
they're going to
you might as
benefit.
well-
They'll benefit from a lot this year, to be fair, funnily enough.
Yeah, absolutely, especially from the car crash that was at the end of last season where they just got kicked out of everything. But, I mean, I'll let you have the reins for this one. Dissect Juventus Football Club of the way that they have been recently. You have the floor, Reece.
It is no surprise with Juventus, the shit they get up to. I've been quite vocal on that for a very long time. But they were 3-0 winners, despite statistically being second best at everything. Apart from the crucial statistic, which is goals, which is absolutely hilarious. Tax evasion on players. Transfer fees, evading every sort of document you can find. Referees. Genuine circumstance. They are the club of clubs when it comes to controversy. If they were called Controversy FC, they would probably have an even bigger fan base. It is baffling what they get away with. And now, of course, that's been robbed from them. But because of that win at the weekend, automatically they are up there as favourites to win the league. And theoretically, without Europe and the squad they've got, they should be winning the league. There's no excuses for Juventus to win a trophy, but they still have issues that persist, and the one big issue, of course, is the squad overall. It's keeping crap players on such high wages that has caused them to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And that is generally where they're at. Yep, they'll never learn. And that says all as well. Like, they're in so much debt from poor decisions from the former regime. They are in such peril. But it's the level of squad as well, and I'm like, you bring Paul Pogba back for big fees, big wages. Kostic, you're very rarely going to use him. Big wages. Arkidu is Milic. Shite. Big wage. And I'm like, the fuck are you smoking? Weston McKennie, decent player, but he's not enough. Adrian Rabiot, shit player, big wages. Keeping Alexandro, keeping Danilo. They've got a Brazilian back free, and it's a centre back with two natural centre backs. Oh, there's a penalty, and I think it's the Arsenal Palace game.
Arsenal penalty, apparently.
Yep, Ant's confirming that one. Hopefully they miss it.
That'd be funny.
We need them to.
I can't remember what I put in that game, actually.
I can't remember myself either. Oh, really itchy
I
there.
think I put an Arsenal victory, so that could work out quite well, actually.
Yeah, Stonewall. Yeah. But again, back to Juventus. It's alarming. Like, one, they've allowed so much debt when they managed themselves really well for so long. New stadium was literally for these situations not to happen, and they still happen. I'm like, there's no coming back for them. Doesn't matter what they do. Doesn't matter what they win. There's no coming back for them. Clubs are not going to take them seriously anymore when it comes to spending money, because they know just how bad they are financially, that they can milk them. And you know what? I'm more for it. Completely milk them. They deserve it.
Absolutely. I mean, For me, they could even fall back to, and I know I'm going to bring your club into it, Reece, but we could potentially see him doing what an AC Milan did in the early to mid 2010s.
Yeah.
Just completely plummet down the table. But this time, Juventus will stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, they're so gullible. They're not going to have this investment. And with all of the shortcomings, with all the scandals, with just everything that we've been through, pretty much loads of it from last season as well, they're going downhill.
Yeah.
And ultimately, with the way it's been run, it's their own downfall. And at the end of the day, it's their own fault.
Yeah, absolutely. And my last thing on that as well is long may it continue. Literally, long may it continue. Unlike AC Milan, who are still winning 2-0, 66th minute.
Mm-hmm.
Juve will have the Italian financial police on their backs till the end of time. Juventus have got a lot coming. Juventus have got a lot coming to them. I do like the 4-3-3 that he's actually played tonight, to be fair. Pioli. Still surprised that he gave the number 10 to Rafael Leao, but hey ho. At least no Okafor's there. Have they scored the penalty?
Don't have a look. Yeah, it's gone in. Odegaard.
Bastard.
At least that's good.
Roma, on the other hand, were so bad. Roma, on the other hand, were so bad at the weekend.
Yeah, we could suggest that, well, it doesn't look like Mourinho's having a good start to the season, is he, at the moment?
Yeah. I'll say this as well. Another thing is, like, no Pellegrini.
Yeah.
No Abraham. But they brought in Renato Sanchez on loan.
Who, by the way, in my head, and I know this is biased, but I think, to be honest, I think he's one of the most overrated players in Europe.
Yeah. I think he has got something to him, but I think he hasn't had the best of times. Obviously, that move from Benfica to Bayern really was a mistake. Not because I wanted him to come to Man United at the time, but he should have stayed at Benfica another season. It didn't work in the Prem the first time. He did really well in France, but it didn't work well at PSG. And then obviously PSG let him go to Roma for a loan, where it's obligation to buy if he plays 60% of the games. 60%, then it's a 20 million move, I think. 25 million, something like that. Another thing as well is without Dybala, they really have very little in the creative spotlight. The fact they're trying to rely on El Shaarawy, and I'm like, El Shaarawy isn't that type of player. He isn't the one that creates everything. And I'm like, why would you do that to him? Yeah, Belotti got the goals, that's great. I thought Leandro Paredes was fantastic when he came on. He should have started. He generally should have started. Some internal stuff going on at Roma. Matic has left, that's true. He didn't get on with good old Jose. Yeah, I'm surprised that Matic didn't get on with Jose, considering the fact that they had that relationship. They've got a good side, Roma. They've got a good side. But they look so bad. They looked so bad against Salernitana. They were lucky to salvage a draw thanks to Belotti. Very, very lucky.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you'll always get it with Jose Mourinho's side, however, that he will fall out with players. However, as I know it was in all or nothing, and I know it was at Spurs, so we got to take it with a pinch of salt. But I mean, the way he said it, that if Jose doesn't like you as a player, you will know from him.
Oh yeah, he'll tell you.
He absolutely will tell you. However, is this really happening at Roma?
No.
That's the thing that I'm not getting at the moment.
I think it was
I just think that they are running the show. But that's just my opinion on it.
Players. I think it was just a few players that maybe just didn't think it was going to work after the Europa League final. And they're like, well, we've had this, we've had that. It's time to... Maybe it's not going to work out for us when they were unlucky not to win the Europa League final.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just comes to the question of what will happen next. And I do think they will turn it around. But without Pellegrini and without Dybala, they have little to nothing. I still don't understand why he's playing a 3-1-4-2. Takes away a number 10 role. Like it just completely nullifies a number 10 in the team.
I mean, that ultimately takes a step back on creativity as well. I know that, well, we all know that Jose Mourinho, his sides aren't really creative without a number 10, and especially with a non-strong midfield base as well. We saw that when he was at Man United. But taking that out of Mourinho's game and even switching to a back five, it is so costly. And seen it time and time again with him. It does not work in his sides and with his style of play. I mean, if he is going to park the bus and keep that really, really deep line, then at the end of the day, switch it to a back four. Keep it compact and push back in midfield. Don't play a three at the back.
I agree.
It just leads them to get an overrun in midfield and then just capitulates.
Because he's got a good base there. I mean, like from that squad that literally played against Salernitana yesterday, they've got a good squad to play a more likely a 4-2-3-1, unless they want to play a 4-3-3 with Pellegrini in an 8 role once he returns. But like the starting lineup they literally had yesterday, Cristante as the holding midfielder, Rasmus Christensen and Spinazzola were the wing backs, Eduardo Bove and Hassan War, another free agent, in the midfield, Belotti and El Shaarawy up front, Smalling, Laurenti on loan from Leeds, Gianluca Mancini at centre back. So there's your back three, and then Patricio in goal. I would change that to a back four immediately. I would put. For me, I would drop out Laurenti, and I would play Smalling, Mancini with Spinazzola and Christensen as the flat back four. If Cristante's going to play, then okay. But ideally, I would be playing Ndika at centre back. To be fair, but I would play Leandro Paredes, and I'd play Pellegrini in that 8 role when he returns. Paredes as a defence midfielder, so he can pass it around. I would play Houssem Aouar as a number 10. Renato Sanchez can rotate with that role or the 8 role, so there's rotation. Cristante can rotate with the 6 role. Then I would play right wing. Let's see who he's got. But that takes away Dybala.
It's hard to say, but
the right wing as well.
Does he fit in that squad, Dybala?
I think he does. He was one of their best players last year. Definitely one of the best players last year. What you could do is you could put El Shaarawy back on the left wing, his natural position. Belotti or Abraham as the starting striker, Dybala on the right-hand side. But then you could put Dybala as the number 10. And then you could put... See, that's the thing. He set his squad up where wingers are now central players that it doesn't even work anymore. Maybe that's it. Maybe they've got to play Maybe they've got to wear that. Oh, so Loftus-Cheek has just come off for Pabega. Who else? Kalulu's on and Okafor's on. Good changes. Kalulu back at right back. Okay, that's interesting.
Fascinating.
Chukvetsi's on for Pulisic. He's such a good player. I can't believe that they actually signed Pulisic and Chukvetsi in the same summer. But they made some great signings. Musa from Valencia as well.
It's very good. I mean, with like the Pulisic stuff, is that just a way of Todd Bowley just trying to clear out the rubbish at Chelsea, or is there actual substance to it? Because I'm sure I don't know if there is.
Yeah, there is, but I think the one thing is that he's been told that his position, he's going to be the right wing. He's going to be on the right hand side. He won't be on the left. And I actually think that's good because that means Rafael Leao doesn't need to be compensated. But at least Rafael's backup will either be is going to be Okafor for his pace, even though he can play striker. I think Chukvetsi is going to compete with Luca Romero and Pulisic for the right wing. And then you got Colombo and Giroud for the middle. And then Okafor can still play through the middle as well. So they're generally stacked for position. for a change. And obviously, Reinders in midfield, great signing from Feyenoord.
Mm-hmm.
Benacer still to return, but the 4-3-3 is settled. Like, I like it. Unfortunately, obviously, Radic Krunic is still playing, but you can't win every time
No, exactly.
because he's shit.
So ultimately, going back to what sort of like rounding up Serie A now,
Yeah.
who would you say at the moment is your top four and your champions, and who fits into that?
Crazy thing is, I think Milan are going to go and regain the title. Not by pure bias. I think Milan, like the fact is, Milan, despite losing Tonali, which is a big loss,
Mm-hmm.
the way they've actually went out and spent money, the way they've actually went out and reinvested into the squad to play either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 transition, depending on opposition, that's big for the team. I think that'll go in the favour.
100%.
So I do think that. Plus, he's allowing Malik Diop to settle into the first team properly at centre back beside Tomori. 2 players in every position, unlike last year. Giroud's got competition for striker that's not 50 odd years old. He's got a young competitive striker behind him, and Okafor's actually came onto the striker role. So obviously it's Chukwueze, Okafor, Leal to close the game out. I like that. Loftus-Cheek was an interesting signing, but he's actually played well.
I mean, it's sort of a gamble that has paid off, especially with what you could describe as the Chelsea fire sale. Like, I think it had, to be honest, win-win for Milan and Chelsea.
Yeah.
You gotta say, but aside from Milan winning the league, whereabouts do you slide the likes of your Romas, your Inters, your Napolis, your Juventuses, your Lazios? Whereabouts do you also, you could add into there as well your Atalantas?
Yeah.
As well as Sassuolo's. Don't know why I said that terribly.
Shout to Charles De Ketelaere for scoring on his Atalanta debut.
100%.
Yeah, I think for Napoli, I think Napoli will finish second.
Mhm.
Inter third, and it's a 3-horse race for fourth for me between Atalanta, Juventus, and Fiorentina. Roma and Lazio should be up there, but Lazio was appalling first game of the season, but I expect them to be up there because they were second.
Yeah.
Roma, I expect them to be up there, but they were really poor. I think it just comes down to how the season ends. But I think they'll all be in around there. I think it's really hard to call, but I think Milan will be getting the title. I think they've came out and said that what we want is to win the league. They've gone all out to make that happen. I'm like, and if they don't, then Pioli will probably end up being gone. You can't have a trophy. You can't have a second trophy season in a row.
No, for me, especially with the fan pressure on that one, I think that ultimately that'll cost him, and that'll pretty much boot him out of his job. But yeah, there's a lot of outliers, especially that completely sits there. But moving on a little bit, another thing I'd like to touch on is what's your thoughts on the way that Harry Kane and stuff? Because I don't think we touched on it much last week, but how that's benefited both Bayern and Tottenham is another thing I'd sort of like to hear as well.
Yeah, obviously losing the Super Cup obviously didn't help him, but he can't really be blamed for that. But
I mean, at the end of the day, you only what was it, about 20 minutes? So it wasn't exactly a game changer. In fact, of that as well, like first of all, Leipzig absolutely fantastic in that one, completely deserves to win. No questions argued about that.
Yeah,
but with the way that Kane comes in, he's barely been there a day, doesn't know a word of German yet, from what we know. Tried to fit in with what he could, but ultimately just too little, too late for him. But that'll come good over time.
I agree.
He's had an impressive debut, but ultimately, it's only upwards from here. And I think it's been a long time coming from him going to Bayern. I think now he's made it at the perfect time, and this is where he's now going to really kick on his career for me, because I think he was held back massively at Spurs.
Yeah, and I think Tottenham will be fine. I think Tottenham will be fine with him as well. This is something that Tottenham need as well. Tottenham needs a clean break from him, because now the comments about he was just staying here for the sake of it, or the Premier League records, like all that's gone.
100%.
Now it's purely about him winning stuff. And I think that'll benefit both clubs anyway.
I completely agree. In the main way, well, A, they've also got the 100 million for him, which is fantastic, and B, they didn't let him run down his contract, because, I mean, we all know how stubborn Daniel Levy is, and we've spoken about this many times on the podcast, but it's actually refreshing that he's finally realised that there was absolutely no way Kane was re-signing that contract, long or short. And no matter which way they would have looked at it, he would have left on a free transfer if they hadn't let him leave the summer. I mean, it's still a disgrace how it took, but what, 4 windows to get rid of him?
Yeah.
Considering that was when he actually handed in his transfer request, but fair play to him for sticking around. And also, well, it took a while, but in a way, you could say that they got what they expected for him.
Yeah, I think it's a good value for him, and it helps Bayern in that sense. But we'll see what changes with him. We'll find out. Ooh. Excuse me. Long day. Just seen there as well that Tomiyasu has been sent off.
Wow. If anyone's in the chat as well, guys, let us know the reason for that.
Yeah,
I don't have the game on at the moment because I just don't have a spare screen at the minute, and obviously if I put it there, then everyone will be able to see everything. So, probably not the best idea, but sorry, just trying to get this quickly finished. But we're just waiting for what we're going to do is move on to the. I think have we covered everything off? Would you say, Reece?
I think we have. I think we have.
I think we nailed it. Just gonna wait to see when Julio's getting in. But should we make a crack at the tier list? Do you reckon?
Yes. Let's have a crack.
Perfect. Let me just get the right screen up and get the things imported. As for takes this, try to think of like a topic to tide us over from out. While I just set this up. But yeah, if you guys have got any questions in the chat or anything like that, please let us know, and we'll be all ears pretty much.
Very much so. I've read for Tomiyasu. See, I don't know what's going on, right? But you guys are showing us 0 in the live chat. It's showing us 0 viewers, but then comments have come in from Hella but 1 now. I'm like, did it really go down to 0? If it did, like. Don't ditch us.
Yeah, come on, guys. Yeah, it's still got people watching on my screen as well. Yeah, go for it, Julio.
By all means. Oh. As a tier list. We'll be here all fucking night.
We will. Okay, I believe. Hang on, 2 seconds. I think I'm missing one screen. One team. Sorry, here.
Okay.
I reckon that's a podcast for another day because we could be here for years for that. Because we both know, Reece, some of them were a joke, weren't they?
Fair enough.
So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm missing here. Fulham, Chelsea.
Understandable idea, mate.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Is there a tier list for transfer windows? Because Chelsea's always win.
Brazil, Cardiff. Yeah. Let me go onto my other screen quick. Sorry, I can't actually think of a topic at the moment to tide us over. So sorry, guys. Bear with us a sec.
Yeah, tier list. A special tier list stream would be fun. Tier lists
would.
are fun.
I think we do need to do that more often, to be fair.
Yeah, they are good. 5 minutes left. This is a comfortable one, but I want another goal. Another goal would be nice.
100%. Forest is.
Triple change in the last 5 minutes from Bologna.
I think I've figured it out who I'm missing a sec. 2 6. Blackburn, Brazil, Cardiff, Coventry, Huddersfield, Hull, Ipswich, Leeds, Leicester, Middlesbrough, Millwall, Norwich, Plymouth, Preston, QPR, Rotherham.
Every United
that would be why, because they're so irrelevant. Stoke City.
Every season posted Alex, that would be a violent one.
You know what? Let's get that one booked in, because that stream would be absolute fireworks. We've got to get George on there, because I know he would have some insane opinions on it. Get Josh on there, even get Doug on there to put it as like a.
Yeah, I know which one would be my best season poster, Alex.
Go for it. Give the spoiler on it.
16-17.
Is that the season where you finished second?
No, it's the season we finished second. We won the Carabao Cup, the Europa League in the same
season. Oh, yeah. Ignore me.
Definitely that. Finishing second was the season after. But the best season, 100%, is the Europa League season, because we actually won a European trophy. And then after that, we didn't win a trophy for 5 years. 6 years, actually. I think even worse.
Mm-hmm. Hi guys, nearly done. But yeah, with George's opinions on it, it would be incredible. Because all I'll say is some of George's rants last season, especially at the start of last season, were just incredible.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Promoted teams from the last 10 championship seasons and how they fared the year after.
That's another good shout. Because we all know where Cardiff are good. Yeah.
Relegated, stayed up, relegated, stayed up, relegated, stayed up, relegated the following year after that, relegated, season, relegated. Pretty much. What a move.
That.
Oh, hit the post.
I reckon.
Oh, that was so good. He literally just done the entire defence, but it hit the post. That was Okafor. That would have been his first goal. Oh, that would have sealed it. What do you make of the fact that Chelsea are trying to get Elise?
I think he's best suited to staying at Palace, to be honest. And like, what does he actually add value to that squad? Is what I want to know. I mean, he's better than Rick by far, but ultimately he just doesn't fit. And reputation-wise, I know he's a class player, but looking for what Chelsea have signed over the last few years, like completely rubbish.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic is the number one. Last 10 years is quite. Last 10 years for me is definitely Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Because Rooney dove off from a cliff and he became more of a number 10. So I class him more of a 10. Van Persie one big year, and then after that he tailed off, which was shit.
I completely agree. And like the thing I'll add with Wayne Rooney, and I know this is hilarious, I remember him playing, especially for Derby, as a CDM.
Julio, if you're thinking Cavani, I don't think Cavani was one of the best up there. He was great though, but he wasn't. I wouldn't say best, but he was enjoyable. If you say Danny Welbeck, you're gone. Okay, so this is Anthems, isn't it?
Correct, club anthems. Now, before we get into it, I need to get one massive elephant in the room right out of the way. And Julio, whenever you're ready, or if you want to, let us know. Jump on, do whatever you want, because I'd love to hear some of your opinions on this. That's all I'll say. But first of all, I want to get the big elephant in the room out the way. These ones. So that one can go in there. Another one that can go in there is them. Straight on. Shouldn't even be in it. And then as we're going along, I'll probably chuck some more in there. Oh, yeah, another big one. In you go. And in another aspect as well, because all they have really is chance and stuff. Where are they? You can go in as well. But yeah,
let's Newcastle. I'd say Newcastle as well.
I don't know, because they have local hero.
And yet they can't name one.
Very, very true.
Absolute buggery of a football club. Right, Aston Villa.
So they have hi-ho Aston Villa. And in fact, we could probably put a few of these sides who have the same...
I think you should flip your tiers round. You put decent above good.
I did not see that. Well spotted.
And that's exactly fun enough where I'm putting Villa. I think Villa have actually got a very good anthem, to be fair. It's not elite, but I think it is good.
It's a solid one, and it's like loud on the day as well. But chucking them in decent. Who the other one? There's a few others. So Wolves, I think, have to go in there as well.
Yep.
Just because they're exactly the same, and also probably the most famous one for it. Hi-ho Sheffield Wednesday.
Put Liverpool and Tripe. It's just automatic. Liverpool's Tripe. Because after all, it's not even theirs. They stole it.
They did. And I got to say, I know Liverpool fans are going to come crying at us for this.
Don't care.
I do think Celtic and Dortmund both do it better.
Rangers done it better than all three of them. That's the thing. They stole it from
their
them.
rival. It's your rival's anthem.
Yeah, stealing it from them says a lot. So they're like, "Oh, fuck it, to hell with us."
Another thing I'd like to add as well, and anyone who can back me up on this, who has been to Anfield, after they sing "You'll Never Walk Alone,"
Quiet.
The place is like a library. It is silent.
It's
and
like
even when they're 3-0 up against us, it was so quiet you could fall asleep in there.
it is the perfect example of do you know where a graveyard is? Like, 'cause that's what it is. Like, Anfield is a graveyard.
I mean, exactly that.
Proper tripe. Birmingham. Last time I watched Birmingham a couple of years ago.
They have keep right on, which is very good. Yeah,
it is good. Yeah, I agree to that.
And I will say when they come, like it is so loud.
Yeah,
when they sing it.
Yeah, they don't hold back on that one, which I'm glad with. Blackburn as well, to be fair, has got a good anthem.
The Wild Rover.
Yeah, it's actually good. Once it kicks in. once it kicks in, it's actually good. Maybe that's the thing.
Because a lot of
Starts
things as
with-
well, thinking about it with the way you're saying it, it could be based on atmosphere
Yeah,
as well.
aye.
A little bit.
Yeah, decent on that one.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I have a strong opinion with this one with Brentford. First of all, it's Hey Jude, or they claim it is, which in my opinion is an absolutely phenomenal football song. However,
Yeah,
you cannot use it as your club anthem.
nah, you can't. You can't.
Like, you could name about half of the clubs in this tier list who also use it.
Yeah. And that's full time. Lovely.
There's one
I
story
agree with
is-
you. I'm saying I completely agree with you.
Nice. Oh, sorry, I was on about AC Milan.
Yeah, that's full time 2-0. Yeah, full time.
Brilliant. Good result from Milan there.
Yeah, I'll take it.
But yeah, back to Brentford. Sorry, I cut you off there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say if you're having to use a song to claim it as your anthem, then that is a telling story. That isn't enough to give you a strong point on. So yeah, doesn't exist.
Sussex by the Sea, Brighton.
Decent. Decent.
It's on the board with good, I think,
Yeah.
but it's not. I'm gonna put it probably about there. Come on, move out the way, Villa. There we go.
Yeah, the best of the bad bunch of decents.
I've got to add another one to Don't Exist. There we go.
Burnley.
It's literally their anthem's Burnley Football Club.
Tripe.
Song's not great either. I will admit it.
Yeah.
Now this is where the bias kicks in.
Good. It's not elite. It's not elite, but it is actually
I
good.
think Men of Harlech is elite, you know.
That's because it's pure bias.
Exactly. But
But
picture
I
it,
find
there's
that-
an away fan
Yeah.
when it's full. That's intimidating.
For who? Because it's not winning you games.
Very true. Mine then again is Cardiff, isn't it? So
Go on
on,
then.
let's chuck it in. Let's take the bias out of it.
Yeah.
Chelsea, blue is the colour. I know
It's
exactly
actually-
where I want to stick this.
It's
one.
actually very good.
It is.
I actually really like their anthem. It's actually really good. I'm going to be nice, and I'm actually going to say that is elite level. It is
I can't
elite.
put it in elite. I just can't.
I can't put it in elite, but it is elite equivalent. But very good.
It's
Very
like middle
good.
bracket.
Yes, I agree on that.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to probably put it there.
Yeah, middle of the goods because we can't be too kind to Chelsea.
Coventry, let's all sing together.
Let's not.
I know where it's going.
Yep. Tripe.
Palace, glad all over.
It's okay. Like, it's okay, but I wish they changed it.
They've been used.
I'll probably get killed for that when I'm in London. I'll probably get killed for that comment.
I mean, they've used it well, but
Yeah,
it's all right.
yeah.
Everton and Watford, Z cars.
Nah. I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah. I just don't like them.
Southampton when the Saints go marching in.
It's not actually too bad, but it really does depend on the match for
It's
the
a
atmosphere.
chant, really, as well. I don't think it's like a proper.
Yeah.
It's not proper, but it's decent.
By proxy, we got to follow the letter of the law. If it's more of a chant than anything else, it goes right to the bottom.
Absolutely. Huddersfield. Now, you probably don't know this one, Reece, but it is literally trumpets.
Well, I'm okay with that then.
Absolutely. Hull, probably the most boring. I can't help falling in love with you.
Just because of the name alone. Right.
Absolutely.
Ipswich is good.
Power in the Blood is good.
I haven't listened to it in a long time, but it is good. And it's actually, it hits you heavy as well. Like, it's a like thunderous effect.
Like before kickoff the other week in their first championship game back. Awesome.
That was so bloody loud. That was genuinely so loud.
Here's the elephant in the room. Now we're going to get heat for this. Two people who hate Leeds with a passion.
It's probably the best thing about their club. It says a lot. Decent.
You know what? I have to put in elite.
I'll give you the lasting call, but let it be known on this channel, I am not putting anything that says Leeds in elite.
I'm exactly the same page as you, however, in this scenario, I can't.
Yeah.
Leicester, interesting one. Because obviously I heard on the weekend, boy, it was loud, but
Is it going to be as loud as that again?
Doubt it. For me,
But lyric-wise, is what does it well here.
I wish Ant was still here. You got the call, Reece.
I'm tempted to have a tier crate that says excellent right in the middle of elite and good because it is excellent. Yeah. And that's where Chelsea can go. And that's where Chelsea can go as well.
So what we put up there then? So we put in Leicester
and Chelsea.
Does Cardiff go in there?
If you drop Leeds. And then put Villa into good.
Villa up to good.
Because Villa's is good.
That means Wolves and Sheffield Wednesday have to as well.
Yep.
Which is fair.
And that's actually more balanced. There we go. Right, Luton Town.
What is Luton to get?
Yeah,
that's Tripe. I remember that one. Not well known, but not
Man
good.
City. Man City's Blue Moon. You know what's worse? I absolutely hate them, but it is a very, very good song. It's a very good song, start to finish, lyrically as well. Like their Champions League nights, like against Real Madrid and all that, the volume of the song was actually really good.
Pre-match nuts.
It's actually one of the few elite songs. I have to be honest.
It goes in there.
And so does the next one.
Glory, Glory, Man United.
Absolutely, mate.
No way.
Absolutely, mate.
I was going to put it there.
Shut up.
And in fact, you can also put that there as well.
Yeah, we're not that far down. We're not that. That's mental. Don't show us that much disrespect. Don't give us disrespect.
Okay, it's iconic, but
it is from such a long time.
Let's bump it up one.
It used to be. I'll give this. It used to be billed as a chant. It used to be, but then it actually full on became into a song.
It did.
So you can't mark it as try for that. You can't market that for. I would say the lowest I'll put us is good. Because it is better than most of the shit in there. I think Tottenham's is actually good as well.
Tottenham's is basically the same, but Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur. And wait, where did that go?
Yeah. But if you generally put up stuff like, if we had, say, the Stone Roses as an anthem, fuck me, we would be elite all day.
Hang on. Let's just close a minute. Let me find the history quick.
And I'm being unbiased on this channel. Apart from when it comes to Liverpool, that is very biased.
Ooh, that was lucky. Thank God for that. There you are, Reece.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Reach On.
It's
Middlesbrough.
decent. It's decent.
Reach Up, sorry.
Yeah, it's decent.
I hate it when it gets to the lyrics, but it's quality.
Yeah,
Pretty much
I
as
agree.
well. And there's one other team who has it. QPR.
Yeah. But I
Millwall.
actually think what's weird though is I actually think QPR should go into good. The reason why is I actually think it sounds better at Loftus Road.
You know what?
Delivery does a lot, and I think it does sound better at Loftus Road. Probably because it's smaller than the Riverside, though. But that might be it. Or whether
And
they play it
also,
now.
another thing I will say is I hate goal music.
Yeah,
But I think the way they approach it is much better at QPR because aside from when Middlesbrough are doing well, it's just there, you know?
absolutely.
Mill will let him come.
To what? Violence? I haven't listened to this in a very long time, so I can't comment, so I'm going to give this one to you.
I think it's in the middle of good and decent.
Okay. I'll let you have the last call.
I think it's better than Sussex by the Sea. Proper football song. Newcastle. Yeah. This is up there, local hero.
It's excellent. But I cannot have a Newcastle song better than ours.
Really?
I just can't. No, it's not better than ours, but it's good. Put it in good. I can't have it better than us. It's not better than us.
Pop by there. Norwich. Theirs is just shouting, but it is the oldest.
I think for that alone, decent. Because it's longevity.
I agree. Forest. I viewed this one live at a time that they were doing Shocking under Chris Hughton.
And it was actually quality.
It was insane. For me, there's only one place this goes. Mullintyre.
I think I'm going to agree with you. Yeah.
Plymouth.
Haven't a fucking clue.
Jana song. I'll probably do this one for you. Goes in there. It's all right.
Suits me. Preston is actually decent too.
The PNE song.
Yeah.
That good. Good, should we say?
Yeah.
Sheffield United, Greasy Chip Butty.
Tripe.
I think it's overhyped.
It's the name. It brings it down a lot. If it was called something else, I would have said decent.
Exactly. It's loud. It's loud at the ground. However, I don't know. It's like it's a bit.
Oh, it is shit.
Not great. With Stoke, there's two I could have gone for, but I've gone for Delilah.
See, I hate you for that. Because I really like Delilah. I like it.
And they've changed the words to it as well.
I know, and it sounds so much better. Yeah. It's actually good. It is actually good.
We're going to skip the next one.
No, we're not.
Because I have a reservation for it.
Okay, that's fine. West Brom is...
This is Liquidator. Now, I haven't put this one for Chelsea.
It's excellent on that grounds.
The hilarious point is, I think it's funny when the away fans go there and we adapt it. That's why it goes in there. And we all know the reason why.
Yep. And West the next one, this has got to be the easiest one for you.
Go for it. See if
I think you know exactly where it's going. Mm-hmm.
One place for it.
It is that good.
The fact that they have to cut the music in the London Stadium, the most soulless ground in all of English football, and it's still loud. That just goes to show, and it's just perfect.
And the fact that it actually is timed well with the bubbles, better than Upton Park was, which is crazy because Upton Park was amazing when that song was going round. But it's timed to perfection. If they were still at the bowling ground or Upton Park, as everyone else called it, if they were still there, undefeatable, that would be first.
100%.
Looks like either Arsenal have scored again or Arsenal have won. I'm assuming it's just they've won.
Yeah, they've won 1-0.
Jammy fuckers.
I know.
And they think they're going to win the league. Overall, it's just a fantastic theme. Actually, funnily enough, there is no Arsenal on this.
You're right.
That's because they're too busy stealing WWE songs.
You're very true. And in fact, aside from North London Forever, do they even have one?
Nah, they just keep stealing Kane songs.
They do.
Them and Tottenham, like Tottenham used Star Wars Duel of the Fates and all that. Which is amazing.
To be fair,
anyway.
I've heard that live at Wembley, and
great.
I thought when me old man first heard it, pretty timber because it generated no atmosphere.
Which is sad because at the Tottenham ground it was fucking brilliant, and I'm like,
it was amazing on the first game.
Like, where's the lights? I'm like, where's the lightsabers?
Imagine the sound effects on that one. Right,
I had that as a quiz question once. It actually won me a quiz.
You should. When's our next quiz? Anyway, speaking about that,
I need to write it up. But it was a rich sports quiz, and it was like sudden death, and it was name the song or something used at a ground, and it literally came up like Deal with the Face was like Tottenham fucking Hotspur, and how the hell do you know that? And I was like, I'm a Star Wars fan.
Of course you're gonna know that one.
Revenge of the Nerds always wins in the end.
Absolutely. Anyway, I'll leave this
letting
one
you
to
have
you.
this one.
Right.
See, when it comes to Swansea, I actually don't think it's that bad. But that's because I've got no affliction to them. I've got no hatred or whatever that. I don't think it's bad at all. But it depends on the perspective.
I'm going to cover it in two ways. One, it's not a football song. B, our version's better.
I knew you were going to say that.
Only reason is because of our context on it, but anyone who wants to know what our version is, happily search it online because it's pretty incredible. And they're trying to cancel it as well, for obvious reasons.
Everything these days is about cancellation.
Exactly. In fact, I'm going to put it up onto Tripe. There you go.
Tripe.
But yeah, there we go. That is the tier list. Aside from that.
Yeah.
Do you have any movements?
I mean, I would put United bias in excellent, but that's just bias. But I'm not sure. I think it seems reasonably fair. Fuck it, put United up one.
Go on then. It's better than Spurs' anyway.
Exactly. But I think when you look at the rest of them, I think the rest of them is generally fair, and it's just when you look at it, like the rest of them are just genuinely strong.
I agree.
And that's what matters. Is, are they strong for the atmosphere? And if they are, then yes, and that is generally what they get, and that is what you enjoy from them most. It's perfect.
I think so. Good job. We've nailed that.
I think we definitely have, yeah.
But yeah, if anyone is watching this back and has any suggestions, please let us know. And we'll be happy to do that on that one. Aside from that, happy days.
Absolutely. And that was quality. We're nearly at 2 hours 10. It feels good. And we can wrap it on that. So sorry, Julio, you'll just have to join us next week. But in the meantime, to everyone who's watching, thank you very much. It's been a fantastic show. Josh will be hosting next week. We need to get I will start writing up the quiz. I'm thinking we'll do a quiz maybe next month. I think next month might be good. So not any wrestling shows. Yeah. Or
Yeah, do a
need
nice Sunday night on it.
or switch in my podcast times. Yes, we can do that. We'll do it. We'll do it the last week in September. So on that, we bid you thank you, and we also bid you good night. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys, for the rest of the football, and we will be back next Monday, all of us, and Josh hosting, so I can rest. Good night. Bye for now.